we're going to uncover this. Been a couple of rains in between last time we were here, and we were hoping to get back here sooner, but it didn't happen. And so today we are here. Yeah, that's later. We actually want those injectors out yet. Yeah, we don't want these in yet.
Are they just loose in there?
Yeah. Yeah, we actually want those out.
All in there.
This one's still pretty tight.
Did it have all those washers underneath them before? That's not normal. Ah, I see. Spacer's missing on that one. Yeah. Okay, that's a piece we might have to obtain. Oops.
Yeah,
That's
I
that little
order,
plastic little
the
seal
new
again.
one. Yeah.
Did you get them?
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, I don't see it.
It's not important. We got new ones.
Oh, okay.
In a secondary. I don't remember.
Sure enough, yeah.
It's been a long time since I had a 207 engine. I changed mine to a Cummins engine. Not because I'm partial. Well, I am. I'm more partial to an engine that has a one-piece crankshaft instead of a six-piece.
Does this really?
No, that's what happens when they break.
Oh.
Mine had a six-piece crankshaft.
Okay. Okay.
That's why I was going to rebuild it. It got waterlogged, died, and I was going to rebuild it. And then after I'd bought the pistons, the liners, all of these pieces that you normally would, I started taking it apart, and I'm like, oh, this crankshaft has a funny look to it. And you start pulling it out, and it comes out in pieces. I didn't pull it all out. It was like, okay, this is done. Let's go back and talk to them. And fortunately, at that time, they had the update kit to put a Cummins in it. And so I should have bought a bunch of those kits. Gosh, I should have bought those. Brand new engine, new hydraulic pump, new hoses, new radiator, adapter bell housing, relief valve system for the power steering so that it could come off of the new pump instead of the old one that was mounted on the engine. $5,600. Now, you did have to give them a core, but since they really weren't going to do anything with it, they didn't care whether it was a case engine, a Continental. As long as it looked like a four-cylinder engine, they said they were happy. For $5,600, they'd buy them all day long. Last time that I found you could buy one, it was a $12,000 kit. And they don't even acknowledge that they made it now. It's a good thing I kept the paperwork so I know which part numbers, because they're regular case part numbers, but which part numbers you need to make it fit in. So I helped a friend here 2 years ago put together a kit. He hasn't put his in yet. We may put the kit in for him, but he didn't want me to do it on credit. I told him I'd put it in and he could pay me later for putting it in, but he didn't want to owe anybody. So his is still running with the 207. So when the 207 engine, when it gives up on his, which it will, he's gone through one already. This was a second used one that was supposed to be rebuilt from a machinery dealer. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
They really hadn't even painted it. They just put it back in a crate and sold it.
Yep.
It did run, and he's still using it, and it's running poorly. But anyway, if it blows up, I may get an emergency request to change it quicker. Yeah, anyway, we'll see. This is a genuine oil. It's not a make-believe. It's genuinely an oil filter for Nissan. And they claimed that it was an interchange with the case, and it looks like it bolts on, so we will put some oil in this first. Not the most important part, but I like to put oil in them first. Being sideways, you don't really get to fill it and be happy about it. want to get something here to plug up the hole before we go to putting more oil in there. I'm going to say that's enough. The pre-oiling will put some oil back in it too. I just want it. That's going to be the main thing we'll be getting oil off of is the pre-oiling. It may push out the oil filter, there may be check valves. Plug up the hole. Don't know. But at least we're putting oil in to start with. We go to the oil filter. It may be forward, backward, left ways. And, well, we're not putting oil in everything right now since we are putting oil into may push out the oil filter. There may be check valves. I honestly don't know. It's going to end up in the engine. But at least we're putting oil in to start with. The oil filter, it may be forward, backward, left ways. And it's not, I think. That's the one over here. This is our multi-function extinguisher oil pressure unit. It'll work for a 1693, it'll work for a D343, which is the same thing. And it will work for a 207 case. You filled the fuel back up? Did you put more fuel back in it?
No.
No? So it's probably the fact we're just sitting on a little different angle.
Well, you know what? This man has a knack for bending things in the exact right angle in the exact right spot.
If we can get it up above the, maybe. It's going to be close to clearing the frame.
Come on, come on.
Yeah, keep for you.
No, not for me. No, I don't. Thanks. I had plenty of caffeine this morning.
It's on.
Oh, hold on. Let's pull the valve cover back off too, so that we can look at the rockers and stuff in case, so we can see if oil comes up there. It should. Oh, it's not turned on here?
Nope. No, yeah, you're good to turn it on though.
Okay. What do we got going in?
I'm cranking up the pressure a little bit right now. I had it at 20 and we're at 30 right now. I'm into 40.
That's probably good.
And 40's where I had
And we had it, it is full.
Yeah.
So there should be something here. So let's go ahead and see if we can turn it. Lifters may need to turn to get the oil coming up through them. Okay.
It's on here.
That's fine. We do stuff for each other lots of times. Well, I think the next thing we try a battery. Turn off our oil here. You can let your air out there. We may refill it. Actually, we should go ahead and put oil in the pan at this point. Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Oh, did we turn on our oil here? The engine?
You want me to turn it off?
Oh, it's turned on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on. Right.
It's hitting pretty hard.
Yeah, they're kind of really corroded.
Very possible. Very, very possible.
Give it a whack.
We could. He's playing with the battery a little bit, so I don't want to do stuff in the middle of what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, turn the fan just a little bit.
Oh, you're not touching it, right?
Nope, that's right.
Okay.
Okay. Nope.
You want me to
Nope.
go grab jumper cable?
Nope. No, I don't think it's not even trying. I think we need to pull off the starter.
Very good engine.
It's been a good backhoe engine for the time you've had the backhoe, but you found out that it's not a good submarine engine.
What I mean?
Submarine? Those are the
Oh.
boats that go underwater.
Okay, okay.
It's not a good submarine engine.
Yeah, but
Those are primarily Detroit's.
Mhm.
The old ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just wondering about that.
Yeah, like
Man diesels in Germany. Those were the
Yes.
oh, totally different, but they were in submarines. Big diesel engines.
What were the horse ratings on those motors?
all of it. Look up U-boat
That's why
specs.
that's why to take that thing off. But
World War One, I think they were around 900 oars.
That's pretty respectable.
World War II, I don't remember what they were up to, but I mean it was a big engine, well made, way beyond the World War One engine. Looks like something you'd see in the 50s or 60s in most places. It was very, very advanced engine.
So they zoom in really close and then technology from space.
Oh, it's froze. It's junk. I don't even need to put power to it to find out.
No give at all,
We
huh?
should
Yeah.
have hit it while it was still on it.
he did.
Hit it.
We did lots of times.
Oh, you did already?
Yes.
Oh.
No, we did. No. Let's pull back power cable off. Let's take it back to the shop. Let's see if for a chance I got one.
No work.
No work.
Too much rust.
Too much water. Too much. You might be able to take it apart and break it loose, but let's go see if I've got one first. We'll take it back for a sample and see if I got one.
Okay.
I know I brought it to Alaska. I know I offered it to one of my friends with a machine like this because it didn't fit mine anymore. I did an engine update. I put a newer engine in mine, but I kept the original starter, which was almost new, because they were having trouble starting the engine before the engine went bad, which makes sense. So they'd put a new starter on it just before I got the machine, just before the engine went bad 3 days after I bought the backhoe. That was sad.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, I
trying-
went from a inexpensive backhoe that I bought for $12,000 to having $22,000 in it in a matter of a couple months.
Damn.
But I had a good backhoe then. Had new engine, new I forget what else I added to it, but I did a bunch of other stuff that I replaced too. Only reason I know it was $22,000 was because I wrote it off that year as a business expense on my taxes against
You
a
think,
house that I sold.
John, you think how much I have put brake on? Brake. No brake. This. back-
Oh, to fix the brakes?
Yeah.
There's going to be probably 1,500 in parts,
That's right.
and then
Well,
some
I-
labor.
Yeah, I go ask them how much both sides brake. They said 500.
Oh, they want that's the bare parts. No, if
Yeah.
you go to them, you're looking at 3,000. 500 is if we order the parts off the internet.
Yeah, that's the part.
Yeah.
I've jumped for the smaller ones. But the spark scares me.
Yeah.
You're good.
Look, it's even got a starter switch like the other one now.
That's exactly right.
People harassed me about not using a starter switch on that cat engine. Now we have a starter switch on this one. Connect to switch.
You see it?
Not as healthy as I would have wanted, but it runs.
It doesn't crunch. I replaced this starter in my
Battery might be lower than we
was
think.
running.
But it's something.
I didn't want to jump off, you know. Starter was bad.
May not start again.
Well, that was entirely the thing. Is I
If
already
you
had
don't
a
get the
problem.
starter on,
We
it's
already-
cold out.
It wasn't cold out. I was going to a car meet. I already had the car polished, dents and all. I'll have to bring the car down sometime. I used to polish it. It was really funny because I'd do stuff with it, and people were like, "Why the hell are you bringing this junk around here?" I'm like, "Because it's funny. It lowers the property values."
Some of these, they on purpose, when the pinion's offset a little bit, they'll make the flange with the bolt hole slightly different so you don't put the wrong one in.
Okay.
They did that on Willys steering boxes in 63, and I don't know about before that, but on the utility vehicles, the pickups and the wagons, they changed to a different steering box and little bit different steering linkage. And me and my friend, we didn't really notice that they'd changed all of the linkage between the two, and I had a spare box from a 47, and the 63 had an extremely worn box. So we decided that we were going to go ahead and put the 47 box in. Well, the holes were half a hole off. Well, those poo heads, they didn't want to have us buying another, we thought. So we cut out the frame holes, welded them up so that we had a backup washer, fixed it all so it'd be strong, bolted it on. And I never got to try and drive it, but by the time I came back, my dad was kind of chuckling. He was there, and they were and my friend was putting the 63 steering box back in because you went left to go right and right to go left. They on purpose had moved the bolt holes so you wouldn't put the wrong box in there because they had changed all the geometry where it worked backwards.
Oh, lovely.
And so I thought it would have been cool to at least let me play with all my work I did changing these holes before he changed it back. No, he had it changed back by the time I got around. I never got a chance to try driving it backwards. There was something I had though that drove backwards, but I never drove it out on a highway. He said he drove it, he tried it a little bit. He drove it down had a quarter-mile driveway where I grew up. He said he tried it there and he said, nah, it was scary enough and he was afraid he'd forget. I said, no, not gonna work.
That's legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was talking about the black power wagon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a center bolt for the steering wheel. I used to pull the steering wheel off and hand it to some person next to me. And then I'd pull out my other steering wheel from behind the seat and put it on. Driving down the middle of the highway. Somebody would tailgate you and you just take your wheel off and hang it out the window and they'd stop tailgating you. We stopped doing that because one day a cop saw me do it. And that guy double taked, he did a double take so fast, I was like, no.
Okay, we'll turn on the pre-oiler and let it have what it does and go ahead and see if it turns over.
Here?
Yep. Let it. What?
Well, the hydraulic line for the thing over here that almost sprayed me in the head.
Ah.
Yeah, she's disconnected.
Boy, were we lucky that thing didn't do anything more than...
Yeah.
Did you see how close that came? All of a sudden I saw red right by my face. We need a plug or something.
Oh. Ha, that's interesting, a return line. Okay. That's all we really need at this point, as far as just spinning it. We've had oil in there. We can let that oil drain into here just through the air, or we could unhook this and pour it in. It should be flowing out where it, it should dump it in without us doing anything really.
Is that valve open?
Yeah.